On 12th December 2019, in Kochi, a tragic incident unfolded when a 23-year-old man lost his life due to a two-wheeler crash caused by an uncovered pothole. After falling into the pothole, the victim, identified as Yadulal, was subsequently run over by another vehicle near the Palaravattam metro station. This incident in Kerala, which triggered widespread protest by local people as the pothole was not covered for the last few months, led to the State Human Rights Commission proactively registering a case regarding the incident. The local community reacted strongly to this crash, expressing their outrage through widespread protests. The pothole had been left uncovered for several months, despite being created by the State Water Authority for repair purposes. The presence of such persistent infrastructural errors and negligence has regrettably resulted in a concerning lack of road safety, demanding urgent attention and effective measures to protect lives. Welcome to Milestones, the Save Life podcast with me, Karthik Nagarajan. This is a show where we discuss various aspects of road safety with the aim of ultimately working towards safer roads and a safer India. I'm your host, Karthik Nagarajan, and today, for the inaugural episode, we have the honor of conversing with Honorable Justice Arun Mishra. Honorable Justice Mishra is currently the 8th chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, India. He is a former judge of the Supreme Court of India. He previously served as the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court, Chief Justice of the Rajasthan High Court, and Judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court. In 1998, he became the youngest chairman of the Bar Council of India. One of his most notable verdicts include his judgment in the matter of SaveLIFE Foundation versus the Union of India, where the Supreme Court invoked its inherent powers to provide protection to Good Samaritans, that is, individuals who come forward to help road crash victims from legal and procedural hassles. Sir, welcome to the show. It's an absolute honor. My first question to you is, roads make it possible for people to make most of various other rights, ranging from rights to commute and right to education, and even right to life. In 2019, in a landmark verdict that gives major relief to citizens suffering from bad roads in Bengaluru and other parts of the state, the Karnataka High Court declared that the right to have reasonably good footpaths and roads is a fundamental right of citizens under Article 21. Considering that, would it then be incorrect to say that safe roads are a prerequisite to ensuring that citizens can enjoy a host of rights? What are your thoughts on this?
There cannot be any quarrel on this proposition that when we deal with the question of life, if life can be lost on the road due to potholes or bad conditions of the road or speed driving of the vehicles or such other causes, non-maintenance of the road, and if there are no roads in the hilly areas, so basically it would tend to amount to violation of the right to life itself. And for that, Himachal Pradesh road construction case was decided more than 25 years ago by the Supreme Court, in that it was laid down that in hilly areas, right to have motorable roads is integrally connected to the right to life, and people have right to claim it. And with respect to potholes, when we are talking and you started from this incident which had taken place, actually now time has come when we have to fix the criminal liability of the authorities concerned, those who are permitting these potholes to remain open for months or years together. Now footpath in most of the cities are being encroached upon, or there is a small petty shops which have come up. That is also contributing to the various accidents. Footpaths should be basically kept free from encroachment, as well as they are the places where the people can walk safely. There's no spaces left even for parking of the vehicle, you see. So this problem has to be dealt with at war level, and it is for the local authorities to implement all this, you see. Their apathy in this regard has become intolerable now.
And all the more so, this becomes so important, like you said at the beginning, that safe roads are a fundamental right. I think we have a long journey ahead of us. Justice Mishra, just moving on from this, in the landmark judgment authored by you on road safety, the Supreme Court invoked its inherent jurisdiction to do complete justice, so as to, and I quote now, to provide immediate help to victims of the accident and at the same time to provide protection to Good Samaritans, unquote. This was a critical judgment to preserve the rights of both the road crash victims and Good Samaritans. Could you please tell us more about this?
Actually, protection of the Good Samaritans was the call of the day. SaveLIFE Foundation has filed a petition in the Supreme Court, in which Supreme Court appointed the committee. And most of the recommendations made by the committee were Justice Radhakrishnan committee and Skandan committee, both were there and they were accepted. And government had issued a notification also in this regard for protection of the Good Samaritans. But in the absence of law being there, it was very difficult to ask the state government and also to follow these guidelines because they were not having statutory force. So question came up before the Supreme Court how to enforce these guidelines which were issued as per the recommendation of the committee, and there are certain more things which were argued before us in the Supreme Court. So we considered that aspect and also considered the notifications which were issued by the central government on 12/5/2015, and standard operating procedure was also notified by the central government on 21/1/2016. So, but how to enforce these conditions? Now, there was, you see, notion prevailing in the persons that if they touch the body of a person who has met with the accident, probably they will be subjected to certain police interrogation. So nobody was touching the body of trying to help the person who was in distress. So these issues were there, and passers-by and bystanders were reluctant to take the person to the hospital also because of being interrogated or detained by the police authorities, and medical legal case has first to be registered. So these were the issues which were required to be given attention by the court. And then at the same time, right to life of a person who has met with the accident was involved. He required very fast care. He required attention in the golden hour of one hour period when he met with the accident. He should not bleed lying on the spot. People were reluctant to even touch them. And even if they were going in a convoy, even then convoy persons will wait for the police to come and then ambulance to arrive before taking them to the hospital. This was a situation in which, because of the fear of involvement and prolonged investigation and visit to the police station and continuous interrogation by the police. So these were the issues with respect to which standard operating procedure was also issued. And in which it was mentioned that bystander or Good Samaritan who takes the incumbent to the hospital will not be subject to any civil or criminal liability. But how to give it, how to enforce it, you see, that was the issue. And then examination issue was also there, how the examination in the court should be done of these Good Samaritans, whether they should be coming to the court again and again, and then court not having the time to record there. So these were the issues. Then it was decided that in this SOP was also given force, in which examination provision was on the by way of video conferencing or by way of affidavit. And if their interrogation is required, it should be at the place of the choice of the Samaritan. Now rules have been framed in the light of that judgment also. Samaritan can give the place. You can ask me at this place. Police has to go at that place. That in the plain clothes. So these are the various protections given, and then he should not be harassed. Not now. Section 134A had also been inserted in the Act, which lays down that if any person who is a Good Samaritan is trying to help a victim of the accident, in his good faith without charging any compensation, without requiring any money to be paid to him, even if he commits certain negligence in the course of protection of the person who is a victim, then he would not be liable civil side, tort side, or on the criminal side. Being a good Samaritan, he is trying to help. Maybe that any negligence is there in the bona fide which might have taken place, but he cannot be sued for that. That is the then we had to enforce these guidelines because these provisions were inserted in 2019 and 2020. Now rules have also been framed with respect to good Samaritan being awarded some of certificate as well as some of rupees 5,000 by the central government. That is a very welcome step. But at the same time, in our judgment, we directed that all the state government should frame the scheme for good Samaritan in which they should make certain uh, they should award these some good Samaritan and give them a certificate and all that. And if they require a certificate from the hospital, they should be given that this Samaritan has brought the victim to the hospital, so that it can be utilized later on. But he cannot be detained at the hospital or can be asked to give disclose his identity or give his phone numbers, etc. If he only wishes that he's willing to disclose his identity and phone number, etc., they can be asked, not otherwise. And we enforce these SOP which were not earlier in the shape of legal provisions under Article 32, exercising the power under Article 142. We issued the guidelines like that were issued in Vishakha case and make them enforceable. These SOP and guidelines which were put place before us in exercise, and that too in connection with the right to life under Article 21, and it was held binding on all the persons in India under Article 144. By virtue of Article 144, everyone has to comply with these directions of the Supreme Court as a law of land. That is due to this decision in SaveLIFE Foundation that all these amendments, etc., have taken place. They are welcome step, and amendments are very good. And I am happy at least that it has been law is now in place after the decision of the Supreme Court, which played its vital role in framing of this entire legal provisions.
Uh, Justice Mishra, you were the author and the harbinger of this landmark judgment, and it's such an important, event in our history. And today, India has a good Samaritan law which provides judicial and procedural insulation. All thanks to you and the efforts taken by SaveLIFE Foundation. Uh, Now that we are here, now that, like you said, we brought down the number of casualties actually, by empowering people. Is there anything more that you feel that we can do to make this more robust?
Actually, we have to provide very specific provision with respect to the rights of the pedestrian, and as well as cyclist. And in this regard, we have also issued an advisory with respect to truck drivers. Their work is taken from them, which is beyond the permissible limits. So they should not be. We have issued an advisory that they should be properly looked after. There should be recreation. There should be rest places for them, and overtime work should not be taken from them. And overloading is also one of the cause. With respect to that, also advisory issued by the commission says that overloading should not be permitted, and there should be strict checking. And these provisions still have to be complied with. The stringent compliance of the provisions is absolutely necessary in our country. And infrastructure is also to be created, as has been created in Delhi. If you are over speeding, there will be a challan which will reach to your house automatically. This should be the situation everywhere. Even on highways, we have to improve the situation. If we have improved the situation on our highways also, then uh, it will be far better that there's a proper signs are there, and there is a reflectors which are fitted, and then for speeding vehicle there is a automatic checking of that at certain places which should be done, and then we can avoid lot of accident, drunken driving, and then speed is the most contributing factor, mostly contributing for the accident, over speeding. And
Right.
then there are helmet and seat belts, etc., which are not being. So the law has to be strictly enforced in this regard. And then probably we have to create the awareness of the Samaritan law and the fundamental duty of a human to help other human under Article 51A of our Constitution on humanitarian grounds. Also, he should help. More of the requirement is that person should jump to help. He should know that he will not be liable in any matter. He should know what is the Samaritan law, what are the provisions made by the central government. So as to create awareness, with respect to rules and regulations and safety provisions is also absolutely necessary. People are not aware of even what are the signs which have been put up on the highways and state highways means. So they have to be educated a lot. In that regard,
Yeah.
we have to make a progress.
The implementation of road safety laws in India is a fragmented exercise, isn't it? Issues such as limited resources and prevalent habits and behavior patterns hamper progress. In the face of these obstacles, one can't help but ask, how can India effectively address the road safety issues that confront us and ensure the well-being of all our road users? The subject of road safety falls under the concurrent list where both the center and the states have authority to legislate. In such a case, it often becomes a challenge to ensure effective implementation of the law, isn't it? Could you elaborate a little bit on how center and states work collaboratively to ensure improvement in road safety in India?
There is no issue that there is no issue of conflict between these, if the subject being in concurrent list.
Hmm.
It is such a subject which has to be dealt with by both central government as well as by the state government. Basically, it is for the state government to enforce the laws which have been made even by the central government. And there is no room for any conflict. There is the number of decisions of the apex court. What can be enacted by state, what can be enacted by the center. So there is no room for any kind of conflict. They can operate to both the laws framed by the state government as well as central government can operate simultaneously within the given sphere of the law.
Is there a role for the judiciary there, sir? In your opinion?
Judiciary will come into play only in matter where there is a conflict. Basically, this traffic is to be managed at the local level. So there has to be infrastructure and money can be provided on the national highways and other by the central government. For that, funds can be provided. But you see, when we come to the cities and all that, it is a state machinery, and rather I will say that the local level, those committees should work effectively. Those persons responsible to manage the traffic, those who are responsible for covering the potholes, those who are responsible for repairing the roads, keeping the roads in good shape.
Legal reforms play a crucial role in enhancing road safety outcomes. By enacting and enforcing laws, governments can establish a framework that promotes accountability, deterrence, and responsible behavior on the roads. Rationalized penalties for traffic violations, streamlined legal processes, and improved regulations can contribute to a safer environment for all road users. By prioritizing legal reforms, societies can pave the way for meaningful change and significantly improve road safety outcomes. What message or advice would you like to convey to our listeners on this show when it comes to the importance of road safety and their role in ensuring it?
We have to become a responsible citizen ourselves. When I am driving a vehicle, I owe a responsibility. I should not expect that this pedestrian or cyclist will take the care. I have to take his care. That has to be my attitude. When I am driving any vehicle, it is my duty not to exceed the speed. We should be driving on a safe speed. Our seat belt should be in order. It should be in place. And then no alcohol. And our vehicle should be good. There are several cases which are coming to us of potholes death, in which we have issued the notices for criminal prosecution of the authorities. Now things are not going to improve unless we prosecute the authorities. Time has come to take action. We have to improve a lot. We have to improve a lot. Otherwise, if we deliver a justice after several years and do not fix a liability of concerned persons very early, then it becomes really no justice is given. We have to take a stock of the situation once again and see where we have failed in delivering the justice to the masses at speed, early, because justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah.
Justice hurried is justice buried is that different connotation, but these are the cases which should not brook the delay. Even accident claims cases, you find that they are they are being kept pending for years together before claims tribunal and High Court, then Supreme Court, and ultimately, what is obtained by a person? Hardly any compensation after you see cases traveled for 30 years or 25 years or 20 years. What person is getting after that? You see, at the same rate which was prevailing at the time of accident.
Yeah.
Interest is not going to help out these victims and the claimants. You see, we have to improve a lot in this regard.
Thank you so much for taking the time out and talking to us, sir. This has been a very insightful and an eye-opening conversation.
Thank you. It was an issue connected with the human rights, integrally connected with the human rights. So let us think that Sarve Vahantu Sukhina. Everybody is happy. Roads are safe for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of the first episode of Milestones, the Save Life podcast. My name is Karthik Nagarajan. And if you liked what you heard and feel that road safety deserves way more attention than it gets, please do consider sharing this episode with your family and friends. Do also review us on whichever podcast app you're listening to us on. If you're watching this on YouTube, do leave a comment and let us know what you would like to see us cover next. For more on all things road safety, please visit SaveLIFE Foundation's website, www.savelifefoundation.org, or any of its social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you in the next episode, and in the meantime, drive safe, stay safe.
IVM